Joshi. The crackdown against terrorists is only intensifying, and you're watching a continuous coverage on how India, in fact, is responding. Let's tell you what is the top focus at 5. We're talking about the multiple measures that are being taken. The crackdown against terror operatives that are only intensifying. Houses razed, raids underway, and that has hurt the ecosystem. In fact, ecosystems, innocents targeted chorus is growing. Then we'll shift our focus to the boost for the Indian Navy, the Rafale boost, 63,000 crore deal for world's most advanced naval fighter jet sealed, and the significance of that, how it's going to strengthen India's military might. We'll talk about that, and later in the broadcast on Janata's Take, we will tell you about the latest strike, the crackdown on pro-Pak content. Several YouTube channels blocked in India. Let's now get to the stories in detail. A sweeping crackdown on the terror ecosystem has been launched in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack. 9 homes linked to terrorists demolished and hundreds detained for questioning across the valley, with intensified raids and checkpoints in districts like Shopian, Pulwama and Bandipora. The crackdown is only intensifying. Now, these decisive actions, part of Centre's zero tolerance policy, aim to dismantle terror networks and deter future attacks, but have also sparked a fierce political debate. Let's first take a look at the list of terrorists whose terror dens have been raised. And let's first talk about those who were involved in the Pahalgam attack. Adil Thokar, LET commander. LET is Lashkar-e-Taiba, a terrorist organization. Ehsanul Haq, also of the Lashkar-e-Taiba. Asif Sheikh is a JEM commander, Jaish-e-Mohammed commander. Apart from these 3, houses of active terrorists were also raised. That includes Shahid Ahmad of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, Zakir Ahmad, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jameel Ahmad of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Farooq Ahmad Tidwa, also of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Adnan Shafi of Lashkar-e-Taiba, Amir Nazir Wani, whose affiliation is with the Jaish-e-Mohammed. These are active terrorists, apart from the 3 who were involved in the Pahalgam attack, whose houses have been razed. The aggressive measures have sparked a sharp response from political leaders, with NC and PDP urging the centre to exercise restraint and avoid actions that could alienate the local population. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister has emphasized that while the guilty must be punished, innocent people should not become collateral damage. PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti has echoed these concerns as well. Meanwhile, allies like the Congress and the Trinamool have criticized the government for delayed action despite prior intelligence.
दहशत, आतंकवाद, इसका खात्मा तब होगा जब लोग हमारे साथ होंगे, और ये स्पीकर साहब उस मौके की शुरुआत है। कोई हमारे तरफ से ऐसी बात नहीं होनी चाहिए या कोई एक्शन हमारे तरफ से जिससे ये जो अपने आप में पैदा हुआ इसको कहीं जख्म पहुंचे।
भारत सरकार को, वहां के गवर्नर सिन्हा साहब को इस पे विचार करना चाहिए, और निश्चित तौर से अगर कोई बेगुनाह है तो इससे पहले कि उसके खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई की जाए, तमाम शक व शुबहात को दूर करना चाहिए।
Terrorism is being exported by Pakistan. How is going to make the terrorist activities halted?
Houses of 5 terrorists across J&K have been razed after the Pahalgam attack, and there is a house which includes a Lashkar-e-Taiba commander as well.
How see we can identify the actual commander or not?
সব তো ভারতে ছিল, তাহলে এতদিন কি করছিল সেন্ট্রাল গভর্নমেন্ট? এতদিন কি করছিল ইন্টেলিজেন্স?
So are the apologists going soft on proxies? Let's open this up and go across to our guests. We're joined by Anurudh Pratap Singh of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, defense expert, and Mohammad Iqbal Trambu of the PDP. Let me first come to you, Mr. Mohammad Iqbal Trambu. If Kashmiris, and like we've heard them speak, unite against terrorism, then why would they really care about the houses of these terrorists being blown up? Why are you saying that innocents are being targeted?
Yeah, Swati, you have to understand that this terrorist attack that was carried out in Pahalgam To my mind, there are two major factors. The first factor was, as we have heard on the national media, that they inquired about the religion those people belong to, and then they killed them. And then, why did they do this? It clearly shows that they wanted to initiate a communal divide in the entire country. That was number one agenda. Number two, why this thing happened in Kashmir? You know, basically, over a long period of time, the Kashmiris have started to talk against violence. And these forces do not like this. So, this was a two-pronged strategy by the people who executed this heinous crime. One, to have a communal divide in the entire country, and Kashmiris also to be blamed for this act. And it actually happened in the country.
Why would Kashmiris be blamed? Everybody is very clearly... No, one second, Mr. Trambu. Everybody very clearly knows that Pakistan is involved. That these are Pakistani terrorists who actually carried out the attack. Yes, there were 3 locals who were recruits in these terror organizations, who were working on directions of the Pakistani handlers. But why would this be seen as anti-Kashmiris? Why? Why is that narrative being spread?
Because you must have heard on a lot of TV channels. Yeah, because you must have heard on a lot of TV channels that India shares its border with Pakistan through many states. So why such a thing would happen only in Jammu and Kashmir? So, to my mind, these two results, these forces were looking for, and that is what happened.
Their strategy has been decoded. Mr. Trambu, my question is, since Kashmiris are raising their voice against terrorism, and we saw a lot of marches and protests being carried out, Kashmir speaking in one voice, why is it that targeting the houses of active terrorists is being called an act against the innocents? That's my question to you.
Yeah, actually, when you must have heard our party president also talking about this. We are talking about houses of innocent people. You know, when a particular house is brought down, it has an impact on the neighboring houses. And we have reports that a lot of neighboring houses have also suffered damage. So she is more particularly talking about those innocent people who live in around the vicinity of those houses.
For that, you can request the authorities, ask the authorities to ensure there is fair compensation given, that the authorities help any sort of damage that has been done to the neighboring houses. But to say that the innocents are being targeted, Mr. Trambu, isn't it creating a narrative that the authorities and the forces are going after people who are innocent?
Let me complete my thing. You know, we have heard that around 2,000 people have been arrested. Now, the point here is that our intelligence has to be way forward. We have to be very precise in taking the people for interrogation. We cannot take the entire village, the entire area into custody just to find one guilty. That is what we mean, that the innocent people should not be made a collateral damage.
Okay.
And Swati, I have to tell you one more thing, which is pertaining to the houses of these terrorists, the so-called active terrorists. Now you have to understand one thing, that suppose a terrorist whose house is there in Pahalgam or wherever, their parents have never wanted their children to go on this line. They have always been telling them to refrain from going astray. These people have already defied their parents. They have defied their families. They have gone against the wishes of their families. Who resides in these houses?
Okay. For that, I think you'll have to allow the agencies to do their job, because there's also a network of overground workers that you cannot rule out.
Swati,
finish your point. Okay, finish your point.
No, let me complete. Now, reasonably, you have to think the active militant is living in wilderness. He is living in jungles. Who is living in his house?
But there is an overground worker network that is helping them. Then who are those people? On one hand, you don't even want the authorities to identify them. You're saying people are being picked up in thousands. Let me then bring in Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. No, 1 second. Let me bring in Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. Anurudh ji, I'll come back to you and to Mr. Trambu as well. Major General Kochar, how should the authorities move forward? If people are picked up for interrogation, the allegation is that this is a preemptive strike. See how you're picking up people in thousands. And when action is taken, the answer that is coming in, or other questions that are being raised is you're targeting innocents. What is the, really the fault of the families? Why are you punishing them?
Swati, my learned friend from PDP, actually I don't buy his argument, and I will give you my logical reasons for that. First is that in a village, if a particular house has a terrorist staying there, or the roots of that family are with a terrorist, or the son is a terrorist, or somebody else is a terrorist, then the neighbors have a responsibility, because neighbors also see that there is this kind of a movement in this house, and in some of the houses, Swati, even arms, ammunition and bombs have been found. So if that is the case, the complicity of the neighbors is also established.
Okay.
So when you say that there is a collateral damage to the house of the neighbors, I don't buy that argument, because they're also a party to keeping quiet. So it's extremely important. You see the role of the civil society here, and it's not restricted to Jammu and Kashmir also. Let me tell you, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, we have found such cases there where the neighbors have kept quiet, and the terrorist attacks were being planned in a particular house. Point number two is, I also fail to buy that argument that the parents don't know what the son is doing. That the parents are innocent. Yes, they may be innocent. I don't contest that statement. But at the same time, I don't think a parent does not know
what
that his son has been radicalized. He also knows possibly the parents' influence on that child for whatever reasons, because we don't know whether the father was supporting his cause or he was trying to reform him. So that is also not known. A third important aspect here is that when you carry out an investigation to find out a particular incident, you are bound to question a number of people.
Absolutely.
That is part of a process. That doesn't mean that the person is a suspect.
Yes, but then the narrative that is being spread is that innocents are being targeted and Kashmiris are being alienated. And I want to go across to Anurudh Pratap Singh, because all these actions, according to NC and the PDP, are going to alienate Kashmiris who are with you. In this fight against terrorism. So NC PDP chiefs urging, don't alienate Kashmiris. You have an opportunity where the entire Kashmir is standing with you against terrorism.
स्वाति जी, मैं इतनी देर से पीडीपी की स्पोक्स पर्सन की बात सुन रहा था, तो मुझे इनकी बातों का सिर्फ यही समझ में आया कि मिलिटेंट वहां पे क्या किए क्या नहीं किए, कुछ नहीं, वहां घर कैसे गिरा, किसका घर गिरा, इनका सारा पूरे कंटेंट में यही आया कि घर कैसे गिरा, किससे गिरा, कहाँ गिरा, क्यों गिरा। सीधी सीधी सी बात है, इस्लामिक जिहाद हुआ, वहां पे धर्म, रिलीजन के नाम पे, ये शायद मिले नहीं होंगे उस बच्ची से जिसकी 7 दिन पहले शादी हुई थी, और उसके हस्बैंड को धर्म पूछ के कि हिंदू हो क्या हो, खतरा देख के ये करके उसको मार दिया गया। उस बच्चे का दर्द समझ में आया। सीधी सी बात है, मुझे भारत के प्राइम मिनिस्टर पे बिलीव होना चाहिए, विश्वास होना चाहिए, उनकी नीयत में कोई खोट नहीं है। इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी का एक प्रोसेस होता है, तरीका होता है, वो काम कर रही है, और देश की फोर्सेस पे बिलीव होना चाहिए। इस चीज पे क्या फोकस है कि भाई घर कैसे गिरा। अभी आप देखिएगा 4 दिन, कभी मैं आपके डिबेट शुरू होने से पहले कुछ लोगों की बाइट सुन रहा था, इनोसेंट को ना बख्शा जाए, उनको इनोसेंट को छोड़ा, प्रॉब्लम न किया जाए, ये आने वाले टाइम में हो जाएगा। वो तो भटका था, नौजवान था, हालात का मारा था, ये सारी स्क्रिप्ट तैयार
हो रहा है, आप कह रहे हैं।
जी, अब मैं आपके चैनल पे वक्त पे डिबेट नहीं कर पाया था, अन्य चैनल पे गया था डिबेट करने, देखता था खूब जबरदस्त तरीके से 10 दिल्ली के बराबर जमीन कब्जा कर लिए, उसके बावजूद कहा
तो आप क्या कह रहे हैं कि जस्टिफिकेशन हो रहा है क्या इन बयानों के जरिए?
जस्टिफिकेशन किया जा रहा है, और ये लोग एक स्क्रिप्ट तैयार कर रहे हैं ताकि मैं पीडीपी का पूरा मैंने अभी सुना, केवल एक ही इसमें कंटेंट था, घर गिरा कैसे, क्यों गिरा कैसे, अरे सारा फोकस आपकी ईंट पत्थर पे हो गया।
मिस्टर त्रंबू, प्लीज रिस्पॉन्ड। The entire focus is why have the houses been raised of the terrorists, and the entire focus is on peddling a particular narrative.
Listen, Swati ji, I was just listening to the spokesperson who was just now speaking. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. You
Anurudh
asked
Pratap
me
Singh
a
of the
question
BJP.
about these houses, and I replied in. I replied in that context. Now, we all know that a big tragedy has happened in Pahalgam. We have all denounced it. No sane person would not denounce it. The point is, I was also hearing to our, I think he's the other panelist.
He's a defense expert. Go ahead.
Was talking about the strategies of the investment. Okay. So I want to ask him one thing, that there is something called preparedness. There is something called intel. 5 months before this, it was in the newspaper that in the beginning of the summer, the civilians might be attacked. 2 months again before this, there was another, by Mr. Aditya Raj Kohl, there was another quote that there might be a civilian attack. This Baisaran area is in wilderness. It has been closed all these years because...
But Mr. Trambu, why do you forget that the agencies also have shared this in the all-party meeting? In the all-party meeting that the hotel owner did not inform the authorities. No, I'm just sharing with you this piece of information that you perhaps don't know. That the hotel owner was supposed to inform the authorities before opening up the place, so that a security dominance exercise could be carried out. And that did not happen.
I know. This is the Swati, this is the problem with your channels. You don't let us speak.
You've been speaking, sir. You've got the most time in the debate.
By your dins. You don't want the reality come to the forefront.
Perhaps you are living in some sort of a denial, because here also on this debate also you got the maximum time. You got the maximum time, so stop living in some sort of a... No, don't be in denial. You got the maximum time to speak. You got the maximum time to speak, Mr. Trambu. I'm completely out of time. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your time.